The pyramids have long fascinated people all over the world. These massive structures built thousands of years ago have puzzled historians, scientists, and archaeologists for centuries. And when we talk about pyramids, you obviously think of the pyramids of Giza or the Aztecs. But what about a pyramid in Antarctica? Or the recently found pyramid in the jungles of South America, which is older than the Mayan civilization? You're probably not familiar with such pyramids. Next, we're going to tell you why similar structures are found all over the planet, what ancient civilization built underwater pyramids, and what is the most ancient structure that intimidates scientists. For a long time, scientists believed that the pyramids of Egypt were the oldest standing structures on the planet, and perhaps some of you still think so. For example, the most ancient Egyptian pyramid is the Pyramid of Djoser. It is more than 4.5 thousand years old. It is a remarkable age for a building. In the last video, we already said that it is such a long time ago that mammoths were still walking on Earth, and most people led a hunter-gatherer lifestyle. For a long time, it was thought that people began building such structures when they invented farming and began to live a sedentary lifestyle. But one finding made scientists rethink their theory. After all, this temple in Turkey is almost 12,000 years old. That is, it was built 4,000 years before agriculture. This structure is called Gobekli Tepe, and has become a real mystery to scientists because this temple was made and laid by prehistoric people who had not yet invented metal tools or pottery. The hunter-gatherers built the temple before writing and farming. At a time when archaeologists believed that humanity had not yet unified in worshipping priests and sacrifices, these Neolithic worshippers somehow organized themselves and found a way to carve and transport these 16-ton stone pillars onto a hill and arrange them in a circular ritual pattern. The hill was littered with many Neolithic flint tools, knives, cutting tools, and throwing tips. These tools are not unusual, but their sheer number is something of a phenomenon. And the fact that they were used to build a religious site at the time when many historians and archaeologists believe that temples and religious ceremonies of this kind did not exist yet, makes this discovery even more interesting. But in addition to the age, scientists are surprised by two other things related to the temple. The first is the complexity of the structure. The carvings on the column and walls are intricate and sophisticated and demonstrate a level of artistic skill that was not thought to exist at that time in human history. And the second is why prehistoric people needed this structure in the first place. After all, it was built long before the advent of agriculture and was not a permanent settlement. Instead, it seemed to have been a gathering place for people from different regions who came together for common rituals and festivities. Together, these factors make Gobekli Tepe a unique and surprising archaeological site that has challenged many of our assumptions about the origins of human civilization. But do you know what the most amazing thing is? Scientists recently found a structure 1,000 years older than Gobekli Tepe. This temple was called Bonjuklutarda, also located in Turkey. Even though it was found long ago, back in 2008, excavations are still being conducted there. And only in 2019 was it possible to find its age, and it turns out that it is more than 12,000 years old. According to scientists, this temple can be considered a starting point of civilization. Already during the excavations, the skeletons of about 130 people were discovered. More than 100,000 beads were found in these graves. The excavations show that Bonjuklutarda was much smaller than Gobekli Tepe and served as a village with a dozen large stone buildings scattered over a wide area. To this day, these two structures leave many questions behind, from who built them to how could ancient people do this? But even more questions were raised by this next find. It would seem that we found the most ancient building on Earth, but no, the scientists found an even older building which turned out to be a pyramid. But alas, this structure was not found in Egypt, and not even in Turkey, but Indonesia. Gunung Padang occupies an area of about 60,000 square miles, and experts believe it was built more than 20,000 years ago. That is 8,000 years before what was considered the starting point of civilization. This structure is a massive complex of stone buildings built using sophisticated engineering technology long before the agricultural revolution. Many researchers believe ancient people used it as a spiritual center or burial ground. But unfortunately, we will never know the whole story of the mysterious pyramid. And most importantly, what advanced civilization built this structure? Remember that most of our ancestors hunted mammoths and built their homes from skin, and most of Europe was covered by glaciers. At this time, an ancient civilization in Indonesia is already building stone pyramids. Amazing! Archaeologists consider the structure a pyramid, but it does not fit the general definition. This megalithic construction consists of stone terraces leading to the central top. It has several levels, each with its unique purpose, but archaeologists have not yet determined what exactly. Although based on the information obtained through excavations and research, it turns out that ancient people built each layer at a different time throughout history, the oldest of which dates back to 25,000 BC. Gunung Padang is still a real mystery to scientists, but 1,800 miles away, a diver exploring the coast of the southern island in Ryukyu, Japan, stumbled upon an even more startling discovery. 25 meters from the surface, he noticed a series of almost perfectly carved steps with straight edges. Known today as the Yonaguni Monument, this massive structure, 165 feet long and 65 feet wide, is one of the most unusual underwater objects in the world. This pyramid-like monument is more than 10,000 years old, which is almost twice as old as the Pyramid of Djoser. Some think this is all that is left of the long-lost Pacific civilization. The temple may have been built by the prehistoric Jomon Japanese, who inhabited these islands as early as 12,000 BC. Others say the site resembles natural formations worldwide, with well-defined edges and flat surfaces, such as the Giant's Road in Northern Ireland, whose thousands of interlocking basalt columns were formed by a volcanic eruption millions of years ago. But despite scientists' claims that this pyramid was formed without human intervention, it has arched entrances and seemingly parallel 90-degree angles that look very much like it was man-made. Scientists cannot yet give clear answers to these questions. Just like the Yonaguni Monument, this pyramid in the ice of Antarctica shocked those who found it. After all, this continent clearly could not have been inhabited by humans. Or could ancient civilizations have existed in Antarctica? This pyramid was discovered by an American pilot during a flight over the mainland in 1935, and oh, how this finding shocked scientists. But unfortunately, during further studies of the pyramid, it turned out that it was just a mountain. But to everyone's surprise, it was an almost perfect pyramidal shape. How can it be? Well, there's an explanation for this too. Most likely, erosion from freezing and thawing has probably led to its pyramidal shape. This happens when snow or water fills cracks in the mountains during the day. When night falls and the temperature drops, the snow freezes and expands, turning into ice. The expanding ice causes cracks to widen. This erosion from freezing and thawing occurs countless times, leading to the formation of larger cracks that can eventually lead to the collapse of entire sections of rock. He said these forces probably also formed other pyramidal mountains, including the Matterhorn of the Alps. However, you can still see that mountains in the Alps do not have a clear pyramidal shape like in this mountain in Antarctica. Therefore, scientists continue to study the site. Perhaps one day, a trace of an ancient civilization will be discovered there. But let's leave out the questionable pyramids. The ones we will tell you about next were 100% manufactured, such as these lost pyramids in the South American jungle. The Amazon is one of the last great wild places on the planet, because unlike deserts and steppes, this place is covered with dense forests, under which you can barely see anything with satellite imagery. And this place has been drawing people ever since the first Europeans arrived on the continent. They were looking for the legendary city of El Dorado, which the locals told them about. The mythical city was built almost entirely of gold. Many Spaniards searched the jungle for El Dorado, and some never returned. Now, the story has taken a new twist, as scientists have discovered that ancient cities did exist on the Amazon. And while city ruins are still extremely difficult to find in dense, remote forests, modern technology has helped shed some light on the matter. Hovering in a helicopter at about 650 feet, scientists used light-based remote sensing technology to digitally map the forest floor and identify the ancient ruins of a vast urban settlement around the Llanos de Moxos in the Bolivian Amazon, which was abandoned about 600 years ago. The new images reveal in detail a stronghold of the socially sophisticated Kasarabi culture between 500 and 1400 AD. And guess what monumental structure was found in the ancient city? That's right, a pyramid. This civilization lived before the Aztecs and Mayans, but already knew about pyramids. Most likely, the structures had the same function as the later civilizations of Central America. They were buildings for religious and ritual purposes. But consider that whenever we find an advanced ancient civilization, it will surely have pyramids in its cities. And similar structures are found practically worldwide, as though all ancient civilizations communicated unless someone or something told them to build these structures. There are also pyramids in Greece, which are about as old as the first pyramids from Egypt. China has its own ancient pyramids, the Kurgan pyramids of ancient China. They were first built in China around the 5th century BC. They fulfilled the same function as the pyramids in Egypt, burial places of the nobility. There are also pyramids found not only in South America, but also in North America. This is the Monk's Mound Pyramid, located in Illinois. It was built around the 10th century AD, 500 years before Europeans visited the New World. And we haven't covered even half of the pyramids scattered all over the earth. So, why do all ancient, highly developed civilizations need to build pyramids? Scientists suggest that there is a possibility that ancient people from Egypt and Greece could have traveled through Asia and even North and South America, telling about the buildings of their civilizations. But could the words of some traveler lead another civilization to build virtually identical structures? No one knows. However, there is another theory. First, the pyramidal shape is incredibly stable and robust, making it ideal for construction, and ancient people knew this. And even when other buildings around them collapsed, the pyramids would stand. Second, the pyramidal shape is visually striking and aesthetically pleasing to us. Its triangular sides create a sense of symmetry and balance that many people find appealing. In addition, their pyramid's pointed top gives it a sense of grandeur and importance. Therefore, the popularity of the pyramidal shape can be attributed to its strength and aesthetic appeal. People of different periods liked the pyramid form. They were drawn to it. It was mysterious and attractive, and that's why almost all nations wanted to build them. Why do you think that almost all ancient civilizations built pyramids? Write your thoughts in the comments. And also, don't forget to subscribe and like our video. See you around.